Alright, welcome everybody to episode 54 of Can We Make Impact Wrestling, the best wrestling promotion in Total Extreme Wrestling 2013. My name is the Mayor, Jason Smith, and in this episode we have another installment of Impact TV that we will be running through. We'll also be talking about TNA Turning Point 2008 from the Impact Zone. And also, in that pay-per-view, we would see the premiere of a new championship in TNA Wrestling. So stay tuned for that. In-game, we introduced a new title, the television title, formerly the TNA King of the Mountain Championship. It has been rebranded as the TNA Television title, and Kenny Omega won the tournament to be crowned the first ever Impact Television champion. All of these previous champions were all King of the Mountain champions. So there you go with that. But Kenny's the first, and he will be defending it on every television taping and every pay-per-view, while some of the other major titles like the Impact World Championship, the Tag Team Championships, may not be defended on TV all the time. The TV title absolutely will. And it is a floating title, so it could be held by anybody, not just necessarily an upper mid-card or, somebody up on the main event level. So we're going to go ahead and move forward. Also, we have new pay-per-view carriers. FreeSat jumped on board, Network 10 in Australia, and CanalSat in the Mediterranean area has signed on to be a pay-per-view carrier for us. We're not able to extend our TV because we had an agreement for a certain number of episodes and not a full season. Once we have that full season of TV under our belt, which is, I believe, a year, then we'll be able to... It might be less than that, but once we have that, we should be able to extend it and maybe look for a bigger television carrier or a multiple TV carriers for that for our Impact Wrestling programming. So we're gonna move forward, and we're gonna talk about the opening match of Turning Point 2008, a 10-man X Division Elimination rankings match, which. Basically, they sort of shuffled the deck, as it were, and so the winner would be the number one contender. The next one would be the number two contender, number three, number four, so on and so forth. So you had Eric Young, Consequences Creed, currently Xavier Woods, Doug Williams, Homicide, Jay Lethal, Jimmy Rave, Petey Williams, Sanjay Dutt. The debuting Hiroshi Tanahashi, that Hiroshi Tanahashi, and yes, he was in TNA, and they let him go. And then Volador Jr. of CMLL fame, but he went just by Volador in TNA. It also followed Lucha Libre tag team rules, meaning that if somebody was thrown from the ring to the floor, then they could be replaced. But if they were eliminated but not eliminated, unless they submit or they lost by pinfall. And then the order you were eliminated determined your rankings. Homicide was the exception to those rules. Homicide fell to the outside and then got hurt, legit hurt. So he was eliminated, but he wasn't the first. Sanjay Dutt was the first. Volador eliminated him. Then Volador went out thanks to Jimmy Rave. Then Jimmy Rave went out thanks to Doug Williams. And then Homicide got hurt. Consequences Creed was next. Petey Williams eliminated him. Then Petey was eliminated by Tanahashi. Tanahashi was eliminated then by Jay Lethal. Doug Williams by Eric Young, Jay Lethal by Eric Young, making Eric Young the winner of the Elimination Rankings match. So your X Division #1 contender, in a very long, very roundabout way, is Eric Young. Jay Lethal behind him, Doug Williams, Tanahashi, Petey Williams, Xavier Woods, Homicide, Jimmy Ray, Volador, and Sanjay Dutt to the back of the line. All right. Thankfully, the next match was a little bit more simple. A straight-up tag team match in the women's division. Roxy Laveau, Taylor Wilde against Awesome Kong and Raisha Saeed with Raka Khan at ringside. Taylor Wilde would hit a bridging German suplex on Saeed to win the match in about 8 minutes. Raisha Saeed, of course, is cheerleader Melissa, by the way, for those of you who didn't know who the hell I was talking about. All right, so in game here, not much happening. So we'll go ahead and move forward. Get back into Turning Point 08. Next match was the Tag Team Championships. Beer Money Inc., the defending champions, would take on the Motor City Machine Guns, one of my favorite tag teams of all time. Alex Shelley and Christopher Sabin. Basically, Beer Money Inc., they kind of had, they were fan favorites, but they were also heels at the time. And James Storm, with his, signature beer, spit it in Chris Sabin's face, and then they were able to hit their tag team finisher. They called it Drinking While Investing, DWI, and picked up the pinfall victory. Next match on the card was the Legends Championship. Yeah, the first time we would see this defended on a TNA pay-per-view. It was introduced by Kevin Nash for all of these old guys, basically, that weren't ever going to be TNA World Champions again. And there was a stipulation in this match between Booker T and Christian Cage that if Christian lost, he would join the main event Mafia. Sharmell was at ringside, usual stuff in a Booker T match and a Christian match. Christian would lose, though, thanks to a roll-up pin by Booker T, meaning Booker T was the Legends Championship and Christian Cage was now a member of the main event Mafia. Okay. A lot of retirements going on here. Bianca Belair is on the rise. That's good for her. It's awesome. Lots and lots of retirements. Blue Meanie, Sabu, Sean Waltman, Steve Lombardi, Brooklyn Brawler, Dory Funk Jr., Matt Sydal won the Battle of Los Angeles. Good. That's awesome. And Keiji Muto finally into the Hall of Immortals, the Hall of Fame, basically. Adds his name to a long list of people who have done phenomenal work. Gail Kim leaves the company tomorrow. We'll move on, and we will talk about a Falls Count Anywhere match between Abyss and Kurt Angle. Abyss would go off of a scaffolding onto the Spanish announce table. Angle would hit a somersault senton off the stage. There was a lot of just chaos in this match. It was crazy. But after Angle tossed him off of the scaffolding and through the table, he pinned him for the win. And next up, Kevin Nash, Samoa Joe in a straight-up one-on-one. Nash would hit the jackknife powerbomb not once but twice in this match, and Joe would kick out both times. And then Nash would finally just hit a low blow on Joe, and then hit a dirty pin, a leverage pin with feet on the ropes for the victory. New emails waiting. Don't know what that could be, so we'll take a peek. Gail Kim has left Impact. That's what that email was. Okay, we'll continue forward. Final match on the card. TNA World Heavyweight Championship, Sting and AJ Styles. 15-minute match. AJ would do his AJ stuff a lot more aerial. So he would do... he would hit the spiral tap, which is something he doesn't really do in WWE. He tried to hit it a second time, but Kurt Angle and Booker T were kind of distracting. Styles went for a Pele kick and missed, and that allowed Sting to roll him up and retain the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Alright, and back in game, Tucker Knight. Looks like he's getting set to leave WWE, so Heavy Machinery may be no more. And Big E won the Intercontinental title on an episode of Monday Night Raw. Alright, moving forward. So, Turning Point 08 was okay, I guess. You know, it was right in that same area that a lot of TNA pay-per-views were in, that 6 to 8 out of 10. It wasn't phenomenal, but it wasn't terrible either. Really the main event probably was the match. And then after the pay-per-view, with the stipulation that Christian was supposed to be in the main event Mafia, they actually, instead of welcoming him into the group, he was assaulted. Rhino would come out and make the save. And then Angle versus Rhino would be announced for Final Resolution. And there would be a lot of stuff happening. Including Eric Young getting his X Division Championship match after winning the number one contenders match against Sheikh Abdul Bashir, Shawn Daivari. Essentially, Shane Sewell, the referee for that match, sort of fast counted to give Eric Young the win. They decided that they would do the match over, and that would take place at Final Resolution. There'd be some interesting stuff that happened with that too, involving Jim Cornette, and we'll talk about that in tomorrow's episode, which we will cover TNA Final Resolution. And let's see what we got in game. Not much. So tomorrow night is Impact Wrestling. Keep an eye on that. Okay, so the Final Resolution pay-per-view, the December pay-per-view in 2008, we would see the pay-per-view return of Scott Steiner and Kevin Nash, the pay-per-view return of the Dudleys. We would see Mick Foley make an appearance, and we would see the first ever Feast or Fired match, or the second ever Feast or Fired match. So you would see somebody's going to get a pink slip, somebody's going to get the World Heavyweight title match, somebody's going to get an X Division match, and somebody's going to get a World Tag Team shot. So that's how Feast or Fired works. But we'll talk about that in tomorrow's episode. We've got emails waiting on us for some reason. That's a weird, oddball, and very morbid news story. Not real, but a weird news story nonetheless. That's probably what our email notification is. Nick Aldis headed to AEW. And it sure is. Okay. Impact Wrestling tonight. We will have one championship match here. Kenny Omega will defend his television title in this one. And we are at the UCCU Center, home of the Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah, home to the Utah Valley Wolverines basketball team. And the Utah Valley Thunder of the American Indoor Football Association, and the Utah Cats, with multiple Z's, of the Professional Indoor Football League. Built in 1996, 8,500 seat capacity, and I'm not sure why they call it the UCCU. I'm guessing it's a credit union of some sort, maybe? High Voice? Yep, Utah Community Credit Union. Announced it acquired the naming rights in 2010. So it was named after the after David O. McKay, who was president of the Church of Latter-day Saints from 1951 until 1970. And then Utah Community Credit Union picked it up. Boston played there. ZZ Top played there. Fall Out Boy, Paramore, Jimmy Eat World, Maroon 5, Panic at the Disco, Pentatonix, Bastille. A lot of big names have played there. That seems to be the place to play if you are in wherever the hell this is. Orem, Utah. Where the hell is Orem, Utah? Oh, it's in sort of north central Utah, I guess. It's about 45 miles from Salt Lake City. So, there you go. All of those diehard Fall Out Boy fans in Provo need their Fall Out Boy fix. That's where they go. All right. So, let's start things off with, we know Kenny Omega needs to defend his television title. So, let's get him defending his title. Who should go first? Let's do Hangman Page. No, I don't want to do Hangman Page because I want Kenny to retain it. We'll do Dalton Castle. Dalton is probably gonna end up getting released as I start to thin the herd a little bit here. I don't want to do it, but I just haven't had a place for him. I haven't had any long-term plans for him, and it's been over a year now, and he really hasn't had much momentum at all. So we'll go ahead and get that booked out with Kenny winning. And there we go. Okay. So he's booked. Okay, now we have a match for everybody in the upper mid-card portion. And our main event. All these guys have matches. Except for Phoenix and Penta, I think. Yeah, they don't have those. They do not have matches. Okay. So I forgot we sort of reorganized our pushes here. So, let's see here. Bray Wyatt's good. Cody has a match. Kofi does have a match. Rich Swann's got a match, right? No. Rich Swann doesn't. Oh, yeah, he does. Okay. Sami Callihan's got a match. Seth Rollins has a match. TJP has a match. Adam Cole has a match. Bobby Fish. So Phoenix does not. Jay White does. Johnny Impact does not. Moxley does. And Penta does not. Alright, so let's start with Pentagon Jr. and Ricochet. Yeah. go with that. Let's go Penta and Ricochet. And then we'll go Phoenix and Will Ospreay. I like the idea of this one too. These two matches should be a lot of fun. Penta and Ricochet and Phoenix and Will Ospreay. Okay. Johnny Impact does not have a match at the moment. So let's find something for Mr. Impact. Let's go with the Bastard Pac. Because he's got a match. Let's go Adam Page. And I wonder if he would put Page over. He would not. Okay, but then I need to take that out too, because if he's not going to take the loss, then there's no point. However, if that match turns out good, I may have Page get him at the pay-per-view. Okay, so now everybody there's got a match. Xavier Woods doesn't have a match. Poor Xavier. Always running around with nobody to fight. Let's go Jay Lethal. Oh, he does have a match. Just kidding. Jay Lethal, or Xavier Woods has a match. Davey Richards doesn't. Let's go Davey Richards, Jay Lethal. We got to find stuff for Davey Richards to do until Eddie Edwards comes back. Alright, and then we've got a handful of lower card tag teams that aren't going to be doing much of anything here. We've got the Coffees, we've got OVE, and we've got the Briscoes. Which means we may have to slide 2, 3, 4. We're going to have to put the Young Bucks in there just so we don't take that quote-unquote jobber penalty. I think this is going to be how the card shakes out, too. Gonna have to be how the card shakes out, I suppose. I don't know what the hell's beating and banging up there. They need to quit that nonsense. Okay. Any other mid-carders not have a match? Marty Scurll doesn't. Shawn Spears doesn't. Flip doesn't. And the Future do not. So Marty Scurll, Shawn Spears, Flip Gordon, and the Future. So let's go with a 5-way. And we'll put those guys, Flip, Marty, and Shawn Spears. So with any luck, this should resolve our lower mid-card stuff that we've got going on. And let's do... I don't know if I got 15 people left. Probably not. I have 14. Great. Alright, so we'll just do 10-person battle royal. TJP's been left out. Sorry, bro. Alright, we got 10 minutes left. Just enough time to find a women's match. Let's see here. Billy Kay and Mandy already have a match. Asuka's got a match with Shayna Baszler. To roll Sonya Deville and Candice LeRae. There we go. Alright, and now just so TJP doesn't feel left out, I have 4 men left. We'll do a fatal 4-way post-show. What in the hell is she doing up there? Okay. There we go. We're ready to rock. Let's do this. Alright, so Penta and Ricochet turns out pretty well. Get a B rating out of that. We get a B out of this match, too. Better write these down so I don't forget them. All that over a moth. That's hilarious. Alright, so this one worked out pretty well for us too. The Coffees versus the Briscoes versus OVE versus the Bucks. Johnny Impact and Adam Page did okay. So I think we're good there. Oof, that was not a good match. Phoenix and Osprey was good. Davey Richards, Jay Lethal was good. That was okay, I guess. Kenny Omega, Dalton Castle was okay, so I guess we'll book that for the pay-per-view. And our Battle Royal did okay. Better with all of our main event players in it. And a C out of our Fatal 4-Way. Alright, so all in all, B-rated match. No specific comments made about the show, so we're square there. Doesn't improve our popularity in any region, so that's something we're going to have to keep an eye on. But we'll check our ratings and wrap this episode up. Okay, unread emails, lots of retirements. Gangrel retired, oh no. Rick Steiner. Carl Anderson looking to get a contract extension. That's definitely one we're going to want to negotiate for sure. 3 years, $11,780. I'm going to max out his deal. But only, well, I wanted to only go a year, but he's going to pass on that. We're going to go 2 years with a maxed out offer because he's 40, and I really want Luke Gallows to come with him. Drew Hankinson. Alex Shelley's back from vacation. And our show did a 3.06. Slightly down, but not terrible. And we're still at 6 out of the 8, so we're close. Alex Shelley, I think he's still hurt. Looking at his medical, yeah, he's still out for 5 more months. So we're going to go ahead and give him more time off. We're going to give him 6 more months of time off. And then he should be back and healthy, ready to go. We'll have Eddie Edwards back in 4 days. So not in time for one night only. So he's out injured, so we can't give him time off, even though technically Alex Shelley is out injured too. I'm trying not to make his injury worse. Okay, so that's going to wrap it up. So tomorrow's episode number 55, we will have Impact One Night Only, our August pay-per-view, and we will talk Final Resolution 2008. That's going to do it for this stream. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is the Mayor Jason Smith. Be excellent to each other.